Have you ever looked at something powerful, something massive, something that seems untouchable, and wondered, how did this really get built? Because here is the truth most people never talk about. Behind every empire, every dynasty, every corporation, every system that has ever dominated the world, there is a secret. Not the kind they teach in schools, not the kind written in press releases or celebrated in award ceremonies. A dark secret. And today, we are pulling back the curtain. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will completely change the way you see power, success, and the world around you. We live in a world obsessed with success stories. We love the narrative. The garage startup that became a billion-dollar company. The visionary leader who changed an industry. The empire that rose from nothing. But here is what those stories leave out. Almost every empire in history, whether we are talking about ancient civilizations, colonial powers, modern corporations, or today's tech giants, was built on something they did not want you to see. Exploitation, deception, silence, ruthlessness. The Roman Empire, celebrated for its architecture, its law, its culture, was built on the backs of millions of enslaved people. The British Empire, praised for spreading civilization, extracted trillions of dollars worth of wealth from colonies across Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. And in the modern world, the pattern continues. Fast fashion empires built on sweatshop labor. Food empires built on environmental destruction. Financial empires built on systems designed to keep ordinary people in debt. The secret is not that these empires existed. The secret is that we were never supposed to connect the dots. So how does an empire keep its dark secret hidden for so long? 3 words: narrative, distraction, suppression. First, narrative control. Every powerful empire invests heavily in its own story. They fund museums. They sponsor media. They write the history books. They make sure that the version of events you hear is the version that makes them look like heroes. Think about it. When was the last time a major corporation voluntarily exposed its own wrongdoing? When did a powerful government openly admit to the harm it caused without being forced to? They do not, because the narrative is everything. Second, distraction. Empires keep the public entertained, busy, overwhelmed. When people are focused on celebrity gossip, political theater, and social media arguments, they are not asking deeper questions. They are not following the money. They are not connecting the dots. This is not conspiracy. This is strategy. Third, suppression. When someone gets too close to the truth, a journalist, a whistleblower, an activist, the empire responds. Sometimes with lawsuits, sometimes with public humiliation, sometimes with far worse. History is filled with people who knew too much and paid the price. The machine does not just hide the secret, it actively protects it. But here is where it gets even deeper. The most powerful empires do not just control what you see, they control what you want. This is the psychological trap. They make you desire the very thing that is consuming you. They sell you products made by people earning $3 a day and convince you that buying more makes you successful. They build financial systems that charge you interest on money they created out of thin air and call it opportunity. They turn you into a participant in the very empire you do not even realize you are funding. Psychologists call this manufactured consent. You are not being forced to comply. You are being conditioned to choose compliance and believe it was your idea all along. Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, literally wrote the book on this in the early 20th century. He showed corporations and governments how to use psychology to shape public opinion, manufacture desire, and control behavior on a mass scale. His work became the foundation of modern advertising, public relations, and political messaging, and it has never stopped working. The dark secret behind the empire is not just what they did. It is what they turned you into without you ever noticing. Now, here is perhaps the most uncomfortable truth of all. This is not new. This cycle has repeated itself throughout all of human history. An empire rises. It promises order, prosperity, and progress. It delivers, but only for some. Beneath the surface, it builds its power through systems that extract, suppress, and control. Eventually, the cracks appear. The truth begins to leak. The people begin to wake up. The empire falls or transforms. And then, a new empire rises, with a new face.
A new promise, a new story, and the cycle begins again. We saw it with Rome. We saw it with colonialism. We saw it with industrial capitalism. We are seeing it right now in the age of surveillance capitalism, where the product being sold is your attention, your data, and your behavior. The names change, the logos change, the language changes, but the architecture of power, the dark secret, remains remarkably consistent. Control the narrative, manufacture desire, suppress dissent, extract value. Repeat. So why does this matter? Why should you care? Because knowledge is the only thing that breaks the cycle. When you understand how empires are built and sustained, you stop being a passive consumer of their story. You start asking better questions. You start making more conscious choices. You start seeing the world as it is, not as it has been presented to you. You begin to notice who benefits from the systems around you. You begin to ask why certain histories are celebrated and others are buried. You begin to question the products you buy, the media you consume, the leaders you trust. This is not about cynicism. This is not about assuming everyone is evil or that nothing good exists in the world. It is about discernment. The most powerful thing you can do in a world built on manufactured narratives is to think clearly, question consistently, and refuse to accept the surface version of anything important. Empires fear educated, aware, and critically thinking people more than anything else. That is why they invest so much in keeping you distracted. Every empire has a dark secret, but secrets only survive in the dark. The moment enough people turn on the light, the moment enough people ask the real questions, follow the real evidence, and refuse to look away, the secret loses its power. You now know the pattern. You now see the playbook. You now understand what has been running behind the scenes of history, business, and power for centuries. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Because the empire is counting on you to do nothing. Prove them wrong. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And make sure you subscribe, because we are just getting started. The truth does not care how powerful the Empire is, and neither do we.